Here we go. Ready? Oh, who's better than me? Yeah.
In our last Smartass standing contest, one person who votes would be selected at random.
What's up, guys? Well, I finished the carving, and I get the carving done on the inside doors, so that's pretty much all done. And I have to order the hardware, you know, to hang the door and put a lock on it. And Steve is still working on the upper doors. There's a lot of work on those doors just to figure them out. And so I'm kind of a little dead in the water here, and I decided that I was going to finally make the lid. Huh? This is a pretty big deal. Now, if you remember, I've had this piece of wood kicking around my shop since the day that since I cut out the writing surface. Now, this is the match board of the writing surface. I resawed this piece. It was a piece 3 inches wide, thick rather, whatever, and I resawed it. So I'm going to bring this over to the secretary, so you're going to know what the hell I'm talking about. This stuff is very important. When you start to build something this big, you really want to make sure you don't lose sight of what wood goes with what wood, you know what I mean? So this board and these right here for the breadboard ends, these other two boards, and there is really zero tolerance for an error now. If I mess this up, I'm going to be, you know, so hopefully, no, I won't. So let me move the camera. I'll show you what's up. You guys are gonna totally dig this, man. I'm telling you. Look at that crazy piece of wood, huh? Looks like a peacock feather or something. I can't believe it's November. Now you see the grain in the pigeonhole assembly? See if I can get a little closer on it. You see that whole, like the whole pattern that sweeps in? I hope you can see this. Look at that. Huh, everybody? I have to adjust the viewfinder so I can maybe see what the hell I'm talking about here. Can you guys see that now? I don't know if you can. Oh, this is so stupid of me to do. Alright, but there it is. You can see that this thing was totally booked out, alright? I gotta put that down. I'm getting nervous. I'm nervous. There you go. So, what I need to do is take this board and fit it. Now, if I cut it off of that side of the board, you see how it's not going to line up? So I'm going to do the best I can. Don't worry about this up here. It's going to get cut off. All this right here is going to be cut. So I'm going to do the best I can to adjust it to where it looks the best. You know what I mean? And I think I'm going to use these two little points right here as the focal point. I'm really not too sure. I love how these two cruise around. You know what I mean? This one and this one right here. It's like totally bad. So, whew, boy. That's what I'm going to do. So I need to cut this board, close it to its final shape, and then I'm going to mill it to its closest, to its final thickness, let it move around a little bit because I haven't touched this thing since like March, April or something. March! It's November now. Sweater weather! All the little old ladies in South used to say that to me. Tommy, it's sweater weather, huh? Yeah, it's cold now, Tommy. Don't forget a sweater. They were funny. Mrs. Allen across the street. Sweater weather. But anyways, man, that's what I got to do. So I'm just going to get the middle of this piece of wood, get it closer to where I want it to be, and then I'll talk about how I cut the sides of the case. Alright, well, I cut it and I milled it, ran it through the thickness planer, and I'll tell you what, this is some gnarly grain, and you know what? It tore out a little bit here and there because there's such opposite grain direction that this is where it pays the most to know how to use one of these planes. You definitely don't want to take an orbital sander or any kind of sanding or aggregate or any kind of gritty thing to this surface at all, because you'll really destroy it. So I'm just going to show you. This is the thing to use. I'm going to grab the camera and show you the little tear out that I'm talking about. And 9 out of 10 guys are going to take a hand plane and try to get the crevices, and all you're going to do is make this thing not flat. And when you put finish on it, you know, depending on the sheen of the finish, you'll see like the imperfections in the surface. So I'm going to grab the camera and show you what I'm talking about. And to be honest with you, I'm a little pissed, but I knew it was going to happen anyways. All right. It looks good, right? Here, it's all pretty good. It's all pretty good here. Now, can you hear it? There's a little bit of tear out right there that needs to be taken care of. All this tear out right here, yeah, see, this is an awesome camera. You see all that tear out right there, guys? I mean, you know, you just have to work with a hand plane, okay? I mean, it doesn't look like much, but when you put finish on that, it's really going to make it look terrible. And there's some more on this one. It went the opposite direction as that stuff. And there's a bunch of tear out right in here. You know, I mean, if you were here, you'd be able to see it. This side's actually not too bad, you know, overall. The other side I'm having a problem with. There's also the tear out here. I mean, you can see it in the grain. But anyways, this is the side that's going to be the exterior of it. So you really want this to look nice, you know. There's a bunch of tear out right in here. I mean, look at the swirl of the grain. See how it goes in opposite directions all the way around? It looks like it was almost poured, you know. Well, let me flip it over. Yeah, this side's worse. All right in here. You see that big long line right there? That's from the planer. That's got to be taken out. You know, there's another ridge right here that needs to be taken out. And there's a bunch of tear out right in here. You see it all? I don't know if you guys can pick it up. Yeah, all right here. That's like pretty bad tear out. Hopefully it won't be too bad to take off. Now, I know that I need to cut this still to put the breadboard ends on it, but overall, I still need to clean it all up perfectly. Now, with that tear out down that way, it was one way, and the tear out here is in the opposite direction. So, it's kind of hard when you're hand planing this stuff to always go in one direction. The best thing to do, right, is to just shorten up the throat, the frog, whatever, and just go at it slowly and make sure that plane iron is really sharp. So I'm just going to get the plane in it and show you. Hopefully I'll make out all right. Hopefully. Who knows? I don't know if this will even be, you know, able to see any of this stuff. Having a hard time talking today. I don't know what my problem is. Alright, now if you feel it, you can kind of feel which way the grain fiber is coming through the surface. And it feels like mostly this way until I get right to this end where all that tear out is. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to get, you know, most of it in one direction. I hope. We'll see what happens. Now you don't want to use a number 4 doing this, because a number 4 is too short. You know, you want a big long plane, so you'll flatten it as you go. Oh man, this is going to take forever. Well, that's alright. Yeah, just a couple of swoops with the plane, you can really start to see the tear out in a lot of other different places. Yeah, I forgot it was right there. That's pretty bad right there. So, this is what I gotta do. And I think that I might be taking off too much. And this will probably take the better part of, you know, a half hour, 40 minutes. But I think when it's finished, it's going to be totally worth it. So, that's that, guys. I'm just going to get to doing this. Yeah, those shavings are way, way too much. So I'm going to mess around and get this thing going like nicely. And then when it's finished, I'll turn the camera back on. Alright, well, I figured I might as well give you a little breakdown on this thing. Okay. When I started to plane this board, right, this is the lid still, I was really way too aggressive. You can see that these shavings are just way too big, especially for a really gnarly grained surface like this. So I took the blade out. Okay, now you can probably see how far away. Hold on a sec. I can't see. There you go. All right. You see how far away the chip breaker is from the blade? That is way too far away, guys. Okay? You want to be like up tight to that thing. I mean, I have like, you know, looks like 7/8 worth of blade. Just kidding. It's about 3/16, but it's still way too much. And I need to adjust the frog, okay? Now I forgot that I was doing some rough planing with this before I grabbed it to do what I'm doing now. So I'm just going to show you how to adjust this frog, alright? And the reason why you do it. The frog slides in and out, okay? See, I loosened it up already, and there's a screw back here, and I can adjust it, okay? See how the frog's moving closer and closer to the throat, mouth, whatever you guys want to call it, I don't care. So I'm going to try it right about there. And like I told you, what I like about Lee Nielsen tools is that there's really no wiggle room for the frog. Okay, it kind of slides inside the body and it stays there. So I don't have to worry about adjusting my blade laterally too much. So I think I'm going to try it there. Although, you know what, a Stanley plane, or you know, if you buy a record plane or you buy any other plane, it's all the same stuff, guys, you know. And this plane's like $500. And the reason why I have it, well, I'll be honest with you guys, okay? I'm like a recovering alcoholic. I've been sober for about 20 years now. I know, believe that? But it's true. And, you know, every year about the time of my sobriety date, I just decided to do something good for myself, you know? And I decided to buy Lee Nielsen planes. So last year was like 19 years, so I bought this plane. Plus, I needed to do something with this, you know. I just don't buy planes just for the sake of buying them. I actually had a purpose for this plane, but I really can't justify spending the money on this plane, except that it's something that I wanted, and it's a little treat for myself, you know. And hopefully, I'll start making some money, and then I'll buy season tickets to the Red Sox or something instead of planes. But anyways, that's why I do it. And it's a kick-ass product. I mean, don't get me wrong. Alright, so now that I've adjusted the frog, you know, I want to put the blade back in. But before I put the blade back in, I want to just check it for sharpness and probably resharpen it. Alright, well, this thing's pretty freaking dull. I'm just going to need to work it for like however long it takes me to work it. So I'm just going to shut the camera off until I get it pretty close, and then I'll turn it back on. Alright? Sorry. Alright, so this is how I just test to see if things are sharp or not. Oh yeah, can you guys see that? See all that here? Perfect. Alright, man. Well, this thing's ready to go. So I'm going to put it back in the chip breaker, okay? Now since this is gnarly stuff, put it in this way, okay? Then you swing the chip breaker around and then you slide it up. I'm going to show you where I'm going to go with it. Hang on a second. Still doing construction out front. That's cool. Can you guys see that? It's like nothing now, right? See? Now you see that? I mean, they almost look like... You see the blade right there? That's like barely any blade sticking through there. I could probably even cut that in half if I wanted to, but I think this is going to be good enough. I mean, it's only mahogany. It's not like it's, you know, bird's eye maple or something crazy looking. I hope this works, everybody. You guys notice I'm having a hard time talking lately? This piece of furniture is really getting to me. That's alright. I can't believe it's November. Alright, blah 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 blah. Wham! Stop bitching, right? You want to make sure that the plane iron is flush with the chip breaker, you know? That's good. Now just be careful when you stick it back in the plane in the body, alright? You don't want to hit the corners of this thing. Nice, right? Then you just roll it back a little. Because now that I move the frog forward so much, you need to really pick the blade up. Alright, now I'm just going to work the blade down until it comes through the body of the plane, obviously. I just keep rolling it until it comes down, you know what I'm saying, everybody? You have to do it out there chipping away at the concrete. It's starting to grab a little. Wow, there's like almost no room between the blade and the body. I might have to roll that frog back a little bit. And the thing with doing, when you do this, right, with the frog, it really puts pressure on pushing this thing. Wow, you can even hear that. It sounded so much cleaner. So, it's going to take a little while for me to get where I want to be. So I just keep messing around and adjusting this thing until I get it cutting perfectly for myself. And then from there, I just keep going. Oh yeah. Now you can see that it's just cruising along, cutting. I don't even have any wax on the bottom of this thing. You see how this thing is flat now? It's smooth. I don't need to hit it with a freaking orbital sander. You know, all I have to do is hit it with a sanding block, really. Look, here's my sanding block. Okay? And here's a piece of 150 sandpaper. And this is all it needs. You know, it'll take me half the time as it would with an orbital sander, and I'm going to keep this surface flat. You know, you see like those lines coming out now? You probably can't see it. That's from the plane. So that's the reason why you sand it, is just to take out the rest of this plane and stuff. Not to take mill marks off of it. You got to do that with a hand plane. So anyways, I'm going to get off the soapbox, but listen. You can totally see the difference between this and that. You know, and you could never put finish on this. If, you know, you could if you want it to look like shit, but whatever. Alright guys, well, I got a lot of planning to do, obviously, but that's okay. It's going to be worth it when it's done. There it is. Not a piece of tear out on it. I'm really, really pleased. And a lot of the texture came out of it that I couldn't even see before, and I'm really, really happy that I saved this piece of wood before. Now look at all the trimmings, the shavings, right? See? That's what I just did. Now I'd much rather have all those shavings sitting on my bench than all dust particles in the air that I would have to breathe or clean up after off all my gear. Oops, sorry, tripped over the tripod again. But this is it, man. It just takes a lot of work. Good, keep your heart rate elevated, you know? See all this grain texture in here? I didn't even see that before. Look at that stuff, guys. Wait till it finishes on it. It's going to be spectacular. Even in here where all that little tear out was, nothing. A little bit right there I got to work on. Although, you know what? That's not even tear out. That's just a lot of this mica. Look how dark and rich this piece of wood is. I'm a real chump, aren't I? Get excited about stupid piece of wood. Alright, nice wood.